After suffering through a day of a really bad game and an even worse game award show, we got handed a game that I was patiently waiting for, and one that I've deemed to be one of, if not the best first-person shooter of 2023. Now that it's officially here, let's talk about it. If you enjoy what you see today, be sure to sub to the channel. I deeply appreciate it. Okay, let's continue. The Finals is undoubtedly one of the hottest first-person shooter games to come out of the woodwork, and let me explain why. First, this game was made by Embark Studios, where some of the devs who worked on the old-school Battlefield games worked on this one. That alone should have anyone excited, especially those that love blowing shit up, because there is plenty to do in this game. Second, the concept of this arena shooter is very unique amongst all of its competitors. An arena shooter that pins 3 teams of 3 or 3 teams of 4 against each other in a game show sort of aesthetic. I don't see anyone else doing this. Well, maybe one, but then again, maybe not. Third, the gameplay is fun, fast-paced, and really addicting. Albeit, the game is what a lot of people have deemed a sweat fest, and I feel that religiously. The light class is pretty much the main culprit of it all, because these damn players move quicker than a hummingbird's heartbeat and will smoke you just as quick. All you can really do to counteract this is download aim labs and practice your tracking abilities, because you're gonna need it. And lastly, the game looks absolutely beautiful. This is probably one of the best looking games I've ever played in the first person genre. No matter if it's day, night, foggy, whatever it may be, the game is looking nice. Aside from my opinions about the game, let's see what the release of the Finals has brought us. To kick things off, we got the Battle Pass. This big old bastard is 12 pages, 96 tiers big, and honestly, I copped it. I genuinely enjoy this game, and I think the Battle Pass has some unique stuff in it, and it's also not that badly priced. While we're on topic of microtransactions, we got the shop. I'm gonna set the precedent that if you like a game, buy what the hell you want, as long as the skins don't have an influence over certain types of the game. Thankfully, these cosmetics don't have any influence over the gameplay, unlike some games. That being said, I copped 2 things aside from the Battle Pass, and one of them managed to piss off an entire live stream I got invited to. First thing was the Season 1 starter kit that has some badass weapon cosmetics and pretty much gives you your coins back. And the second thing I copped was a cat. The reaction alone was enough for me to buy it, and when I did, I thought my ass was gonna end up on some 2x4s by the end of the night. So yeah, say hello to the channel pet. Let me know what I should name them. And while you're doing that, let's get into the actual game itself. We have a brand new map, Las Vegas. And with Las Vegas, we have a new event where a UFO invasion takes place, and during that invasion, a flying saucer can pretty much fuck up the map and pull things into the air to make things even more hellacious for everyone in the lobby. I mean, most of the time, I don't even realize that there's a halftime event until they've already started. Now, if you're not worried about it being too sandy or ET coming through and destroying everything like a toddler does Lincoln Logs, you've also got to worry about tripwires and turrets completely shafting you. There's actually a game that I played where me, my brother, and buddy of mine, Big Fry, were playing Bank It or Quick Cash, and there was a turret on the damn objective, and the only cover we really had was the objective itself. In situations like that, it can make the game so much more intense than it already is, and I absolutely love it. Plus, it's a free turret. Who's gonna turn that down? Now, to add on to the new map and everything, we have the inclusion of reload and inspect animations, emotes, gestures, pets, obviously, sounds, watches, and even more that they don't mention on the patch notes. There's also up to 6 mastery levels for the weapons and gadgets, along with 5 levels per ability. And the rest is just some improvements they made in the beta. But the movement is being called into question. Just when I thought that the main complaints were coming from the light class users, I go on Twitter and on the Steam reviews to find out that people are saying that the game in general just feels slower. I mean, I don't really notice anything. Maybe it's a per person basis and not something everyone will experience. I think the devs are also tired of hearing about it, because this is what they had to say. We have been investigating your feedback on the feel of the movement from open beta to now. It's been hard to pinpoint because there was no change in the movement system or the movement speed between the 2 tests. But in our research, we believe we may have found the problem. We have identified a few things that might be causing everyone to experience the gameplay differently. In the past month, we have made small adjustments to animations, sounds, and settings that, in combination, may be giving the feeling of slower movement, especially in light and medium archetypes. Settings were reset as well, so FOV is defaulted to 71, which can have a huge impact on how the game feels. This is the nicest way of saying, we didn't do shit, adjust your FOV while we figure this out. I mean, hell, even in one of the announcements they put in the Discord on the 9th, one of the highlights were, still missing the closed beta movement feel, go to video settings and set field of view or FOV to 90 or higher. They're about to snap and just have y'all moving like slugs for complaining about it so much, I swear to God. In all seriousness though, I have felt that the medium class got a little bit slower compared to the beta, but honestly, I don't even realize it half the time because I'm trying to not get my ass disintegrated into a pile of Chuck E. Cheese tokens. All in all, I think the finals has been a great game to play. Even if it is a little competitive and a little sweaty, it's something that I'll continue to play until the server shut down, and that sentiment is felt pretty much throughout the community. Until I looked at the Steam reviews. Yeah, there are a few people here and there that think, I'm not enjoying this game. Is it because it's not meant for me? Nah, it's because it's shit. Also, before we go forward, I feel like I gotta put this out there just in case someone doesn't get it. I'm only being cynical when I read these, so if any of the reviewers happen to see this, these aren't meant to offend you, and if they do, I'm sorry. Not really. Like for example, this review, and there's a few spelling errors, so I'll try to overlook those. I came into this game with no experience in this game, unlike those of the beta, so I had zero expectations to make me biased in either liking or disliking the game. To make it short overall, it's a game. That's it. It's very average. My biggest complaint really is 3v3v3 is probably the worst PvP format in gaming, so I can't recommend this to people. This how boring the gameplay is, and with so many paid YouTubers yelling at me with how absolutely mind-blowingly good this game is, it makes me want to rate it lower, but I won't. It's average at best. My brother in Christ, all you had to say was the game wasn't for you, and things would have been just fine. Also, I feel like you mentioning the paid YouTubers aspect sort of told me that you may have had some sort of bias towards the game before you played it. Then again, you probably looked at the titles of these videos and assumed that they were all sponsored, which is pretty damn ignorant if you ask me. Normally you'd see it in the title or in the description that it's an ad or that it's sponsored, but you're just gonna assume that everyone is being paid to play this game. Also, boring? In what fucking dimension is this game ever boring unless you're running away from the objective and sitting in corners? This other review is about as long as the Bible itself, but it leans into the monetization model of the game a little bit. Here's what they say. Also, none of the cosmetics from the first round made it to the second, which is understandable to a degree, but when you consider the outrageous prices in the shop and the predatory pricing of the in-game currency, it starts to feel like a spit in the face to receive only 150 currency, which isn't enough for just about anything in the shop, as a thank you for playing in the first round. My main question would be, why? The developers had an amazing chance to catch lightning in a bottle here, but instead just seem to be ruining their chance with bad monetization, questionable gameplay choices, and also from what I could find online, not much active communication with the community. Now, let me be the first one to say that if you feel like things are priced too high, that's fair. I always encourage people to vote with their wallet. However, you have to keep in mind what these items give you. For example, the Season 1 starter kit gives you some skins, but also gives you your credits back. The outfit with like the animated motorcycle helmet on it, I think that one's priced at about $20, but if you look, there's 11 things that come with it. I bought the battle pass because I support Embark and the development of the finals. I bought the cat, well, I bought the cat to make people upset, but you see where I'm coming from? The outfits are priced a bit too high, but if you compare the skins to Call of Duty that not only cost way too damn much, but also may or may not give you an advantage on the back end, I really don't see the harm in supporting the game by buying skins. And to add on top of that, these are entirely cosmetic and don't provide any advantage, and the game's free. You're not forced to buy anything, and it's all about priority. And if one of your main arguments about the game itself is the monetization model of the cosmetics that don't affect gameplay, then you might have to rethink it a bit. Also, I'm pretty sure I've seen Embark be responsive to people in the Discord personally. They're also busy developing the game, so if they don't respond back right away, I don't think that should go against them, but that's just me though. Okay. One more, and it's someone who calls into question the purpose of Quick Cash by saying, what is the point of going to a point, picking up a box, then bringing that box to a point, and then sitting around? Like, there's no reason for anyone to start the process because it puts a fallable target on your head. And for what payoff? You get to hold the point first, which gives everyone the most time to take the object from you? First of all, that's just the name of the game. If you don't like it, play bank it. Second, there is a reason to be the first one to the objective. If you've got a strong team with a good ability and good selection of utilities, you could hold that point off from both teams easily. Even if you don't, the thrill of the game is to try to steal it back. This is another case of this isn't your type of game. Before I drag this video out way too long, let me go ahead and get into my final thoughts. I highly recommend y'all go check out the game. I'll leave it linked down below. For my final thoughts, this game has come in clutch at possibly the best time of 2023, especially after the shit show of a day we had the day its Shadow launched. There's so many things about the game that make me enjoy it, and despite what some may say, the game is unique at its core. There's really no other game on the market that's doing what this game is doing. Not even its competitors it gets compared to quite often. In regards to the reviews of the finals or reviews in general, I'm realizing that people will write reviews about a game that just doesn't appeal to them, which is okay if that's how you feel, but it subtracts from the real reviews that point out legitimate concerns and issues. Like, a lot of these reviews talk about the bugs they've experienced, which is good. I've experienced some myself. There's a bug that randomly drops your FPS from whatever it is down to like 30, and then it like randomly spikes it up again. I've also seen some people get upset over the microtransactions, and while that's a whole other topic that varies depending on the people you speak to, if someone wants to buy a skin to support the devs of a game they like, what does it matter to you? Now, if it's a pay-to-win advantage like that fucking Groot skin in Modern Warfare, or even a Diablo Immortal situation, then sure, call it out. The less of that bullshit in gaming that we have, the better. But if you saw the cat on my shoulder and felt a different way, I want you to ask yourself why. Because I'm genuinely curious too. All in all, if you like the game, enjoy it. If you don't, cool. There are plenty of other games. I'm sure there's one that'll suffice. If none of them suffice, then just find a different hobby. And I mean that in the most respectable way possible. Now I turn the mic to you. Let me know down below what you think about the finals. And while you're down there, go ahead and smash that like button and deposit that sub button also YouTube can show you my content free of charge. This is Sir Blackout signing off to go supply my squad with cats for the ranked tournament mode. I think those cats give us an upper hand advantage a little bit. Later.